Hello, today we're coming to you with a new project. I never made crocheted slippers before, so this is going to be a new journey. So while you can, go run, get your tools that we're going to be using today. As you see here pictured, you're going to need your measuring tape. You're going to need to have a crochet hook. Today I use this crochet hook. It's a 4mm crochet hook. Get your scissors. We're going to be needing some stitch markers. And we're going to be weaving in yarn. So you're going to be needing a we call this a casting needle or a embroidery needle. So you need one of those today, and it depends on what you want to decorate your slipper. We're going to make a child slipper, and the cute. And you can use whatever you want to use. Today it's just going to be the slipper itself, but I made him with some crocheted ears. I did a pattern that I found on YouTube that showed you how to crochet triangle, and you can use whatever you want. This was just my choice. I just thought this was really cute. Instead of doing bunny ears, I just felt like this was a little bit safer. I had some eyes that I used for my amigurumi dolls, and I used a hot glue gun with fabric glue to glue the eyes on. And I used just some just some scrap yarn, and I just sewed the nose. Like I said, today we're just going to be doing just a slipper. It takes a long time if I do the whole process, and you can decorate your children or your child's shoe or your shoe, because this shoe can be made into adult sizes. According to the pattern that I'm taking this from, is found on YouTube as well, and it was done by Woolly Wonders, and it's from the tutorial. The lady who does that is from overseas in the UK, and I have used her tutorials for making amigurumi dolls when I was first learning how to make them, and for many a little girl dresses when I was starting to crochet dresses in the last 5 years. So I absolutely love her tutorials. Hers was the simplest tutorial that I could find for making slippers for children, or just making slippers that you can just slip on your feet and wear in the house. This one was really a very simple pattern. The other thing is with slippers, be it for an adult or for a child, with yarn, it can be very slippery to walk around in these slippers. So what I did was, first let me tell you the yarn that I use. It's called I Love This Yarn, and it's just a 4mm, 4mm yarn, worsted. I just took some yarn that I have that was really old. I wanted to see how this would work out. But in talking about this, yarn can be very slippery. So what I did was, I saw another tutorial to prevent the shoes from being so slippery when your child, or if you make them for yourself, to prevent them from being slippery. I used a hot glue gun, and I just made little tracks on it to see, if this was really, would grip, and it seems to work. So that might be, and you can use a regular glue stick. Please put something on the bottom of these slippers if you make them, because again, I have to just emphasize, this yarn, you walking on the floor, you can slip and easily fall in these. So make sure that you have a security system where you put something. You can put go to Dollar Tree and get the they have what is called cabinet liners, and they're skid proof, and you can cut a oval and hot glue it to the bottom of your house shoe, and that should prevent skidding if you should be or sliding walking on the surface of your floors at home or wherever you might be when you're wearing your house shoes. Okay, well, we're getting ready to get started. I'm pulling out my yarn, and I'm going to get my crochet hook. I want to make sure that I'm in focus. It's kind of hard sometimes to videotape and see what you're doing at the same time. All right. Now, in a previous video that I did, I showed or demonstrated how to do the miracle chain, or the miracle circle. And I'm just going to just do this, but please go back and review. It's either 1 or 2, crochet series 1 or 2, where I demonstrate how to make this miracle circle, or magic circle. So let's do this and cross, pull the crochet hook. I want to make sure I'm in focus, and pull this up. It can be kind of a little cumbersome to pull this loop up. Pull this up, grab a loop, and we're going to chain 1. And according to her instructions, we're going to do 13 single crochets. And if you're not familiar with how to do a single crochet, there is a tutorial for that too. I am going to pause my camera, and you can pause your video and take your time, do your 13 single crochet stitches in the magic chain. See you in a moment. All right, we have made 13 single crochets. I don't know why I said the magic chain. It's the magic circle. This is different than chaining 3 and crocheting your stitches in. This is where, let me make sure this is in focus, where you pull this string right here to draw the stitches up, and you want to make sure that when you do this, see where these stitches are right here to the outer circle? They should be to the outer part, because that's where you're going to be working. And you should be able to pull this string to be able to join. Now I put a marker here so that I would know where my first stitch would be. Let's see if I can slide this up a little bit more. There you go. And I'm sure you can do this a little bit tighter where it closes up the hole. If not, you can get this. We'll continue crochet, but you're going to, right where we have this marker, that's your first stitch. We're going to do a slip stitch. Make sure you remember, don't use this little short strand. We're going to do a slip stitch in the first and the last and pull up. I'm going to take this out and I'll put it back in. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to go back in to the same stitch that we did the slip stitch in, which is the first one, and we're going to make 2 single crochets. One and 2. And I'm going to mark mine. That way I will know where the row ends. You don't have to necessarily fasten it. But row 2, we're going to make 2 single crochets in each stitch. So at the end of this row, you should have 26 stitches. And it is important that you count in order for this to come out. So I'll see you in a moment. Pause your video and let's do 2 single crochet stitches in each stitch. I'll do one more. Alrighty, I'm gonna pause it. See you in a moment. All right, we are at this 26th stitch, and we're going to single crochet, and I just want you to see, get this in view so you can see. This is what it looks like. If it didn't come out right for you, don't be afraid, frog it. That means take it apart and start it again, because I had to do the same thing. I did it with my first shoe. When you are crocheting this round 2, make sure you pull the stitches back so that you can see the next stitch. Now this is what it looks like. It should have this space up in here. This is what it's supposed to look like. This is the 26 stitches. And this would be the only row that we're going to be doing an increase in. And don't be afraid to give that little short strand that belonged to the miracle or the magic the magic chain, the magic circle. Give it a nice shank. It does close up, because I did it did close up really nicely, but as you crochet it might slip open. But as you continue the rounds, as you start working on it, just give that strand right here a nice good yank, and it'll this hole will close up. All right, now we're going into, and you got to be careful, this stitch right here, and we're going to do a slip stitch. And usually when you do a double crochet, which is going to be the next stitch in her pattern, she does all of this in double crochet, where I chose to do this in a single crochet in the beginning, just to make sure that it had a nice tight closure. And I don't know, I just kind of liked how the single crochet looked, and then moved into doing the double crochet. So let's go to the next one. So in row 3, and we should be in row 3, we're still going to do a chain 1. Normally with a double crochet we'll chain 2 or 3, but in her pattern she does a chain 1 and does a double crochet, and it worked out really nice. So we're going back into that same stitch. Make sure you can see where we're going in at, right here. And we're going to do a double crochet stitch. And for row 3, we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch going around. And we should have 26 stitches. Remember, we're not doing any increases. get some more yarn. The pencil over there. And you can use a marker to help you to know which is the first double crochet stitch. Sometimes that chain one can be very confusing in here. Sometimes that can be really confusing. So I want to make sure I'm in focus with this because I can't see. But right in here. I'm sure you know how to do a double crochet stitch. For my beginners, or if this is your first time viewing viewing my tutorial, there is a tutorial that shows you how to do a double crochet stitch. Go back and review it. Or if you don't know and it's your first time, oh hey, we welcome you. Go learn a double crochet stitch, go learn the single crochet stitch, and then come back and catch up to us. Again, the magic of this is you can just stop the video and go learn, come back. If I'm moving too fast for you, you can always stop and get caught up. That's what I do when I'm learning. When it's something that I have never done before, no matter whose tutorial, you have that luxury of stopping your video and getting caught up and or going ahead, because sometimes I've done that as well. So whichever works out for you, do you. I am going to pause the camera and then I'll be back. But see, we're on our way. See you in a moment. I'm going to do a double crochet. Mark it with your stitch marker, and that way you'll know that you're going back in to that first stitch of the row. And remember, we're going to do this again for rows 4, 5, and row 6. See you back in a moment. We have finished the end of the row. There are 26 stitches. Make sure you count that you have 26. I'm going to turn this in, well, outside, the inside out, which is the right side now. And you should have the beginning of the toe of the shoe. I'm going to pull this string from the inside, give it a nice little tug to close it up. You can always use this darning needle at this point to go and sew this in, to weave it in and to tighten it. And I did that with the other shoe. So right now I'm just going to pull it tight and we're going to keep going. But isn't that cute? That's the toe part. So that's row 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to crochet one more row. Row 6, we're going to do the same thing where we're going to do a slip stitch into the first double crochet as we did previously. Chain 1 and go back into the same stitch and double crochet and crochet 25 more, because this is number 26 right here, and go just do one double crochet in each stitch and come back around, and then we're going to get ready to do the side of the shoe. And this is the first part. This is the toe. Great job, guys. See you in a moment. We're at the end of row 6. We are going to slip stitch in the first double crochet, and pull through. And at this point, we're going to fasten off. So chain 1. I usually chain 2 to form a knot. Most people just pull it out or pull it through, or chain 1, but I always do chain 2 so I can slide it and it forms a knot. You have to take your fingernails. So if you see cracked, split nails, that's from years of doing this, but I know it's a knot and it will hold it. But there's the toe of your shoe. And remember, I talked about taking the darning needle and taking that strand, and I weaved it in. I don't know if you can really tell or can really see, but I weaved in the strand, so, and it helped close. And I pulled it first and then weaved it in, so you can't even tell that it's even there. So now it has it's closed up, and so they both kind of look the same there. Right there. All right. Moving on. We're just going to leave this here because we're going to weave it in with a darning needle. I like this type of darning needle. There are different kinds. They're plastic. You can use the straight needle. I kind of just like the one that's kind of angled because it kind of works its way into the stitches a little bit better. But whatever you have, it doesn't matter. It'll get the job done. In this next row, for row 7, what we're getting ready to do, we're going to find the middle. And that's really why I left this strand, this hanging. So that can be your marker for the middle. And let's just fold it this way. And put this down so I can press it down. This is about the middle of the toe, like so. What we're trying to find is 6 stitches in the middle here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but try and get it as close as possible. What I tried doing was I simply just kind of count 13, and I used markers. You don't have to be that precise. I just wanted to see, what, if it would give me an exact placement. So simply all I did was I just kind of counted 1, let me see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and right here 13, because half of 26 is 13. So that's, I'm just placing a marker right there. And I'm just going to count back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and this one would be 13. And I put another stitch marker here in this one right here. So to get the middle 6, I just kind of counted over, I guess I did count over 6, because that's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I want to see where it places me at this time. I'm going to put a marker right here. It doesn't have to be exact, and you don't have to do like I did. Let me see. 1, 2, marker, 2, 4, 6, 7. So I guess right about here would be the middle. Okay. Wow. Okay. So that's the middle. So that's 7. And then you got 2, 4, and 6. Wonderful. So let's just say this is going to be it. So we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me make sure. I'm going to count over 3. 2, 3 right here. Sorry about the they're cutting the bushes in the background. Okay, 3 right here, and from the center one, 1, 2, 3. And make sure I'm gonna pull these other 2 out. Just want to make sure we have 6. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make this a little easier for some of you. But like I said, it doesn't have to be exact. It's just me. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There you go. You have your 6 center chains as close as we can get it. But this seems to work for me. So if you want to do that, that's fine. If you just want to just hit it and just do the 6 that, eyeball it, then just do that. But it's a reason for this. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to get our yarn. And we're going to start here for row 7. And not in this stitch here. We're going into the stitch. Make sure I see. That's why I like having markers. We're not going into this one. We're going into this one right here. And this is what I do to start another, to attach yarn. See what I just did? Make sure I'm in focus. Pull it through. Pull this up a little bit. And then pull through. And you should have it anchored. You can pull this this yarn right here or this one right here, and it'll tighten it up. Now we can hide this strand right here as we crochet, and you just crochet right over it. Now we're going to do a double crochet all the way around until you get to this stitch right here just before the marker, and that's as far as we're going to crochet, because this is going to give you these 6 right here is going to give you the opening of the chute. So right in here is going to be the opening of your chute. All right, you know how to do a double crochet stitch. We're going to go back in to the same place where we attached the yarn, and you're going to now do a double crochet stitch. I want to make sure that I'm in focus. And you remember where I was saying that you can cover this strand up, and you really can. And if you need to clip it down, do that. And just go into the stitches and crochet over it. And it will hide it. It's, you don't have to worry about trying to weave it in. And we should be on row 7. We're going to crochet 1 double crochet stitch in each stitch. That's it. See, you almost got the beginning of the opening of the shoe. I'm going to pause and I'm going to continue, and I'll be right back just before I get to that marker. Okay, we're going to adjust this. We're not going in this part right here, but we are going to crochet in here to make sure that we don't have a hole. And we're going to crochet this in, and it should give you 20 stitches, and you shouldn't have a hole. But you can't crochet on that knot because it will give you an extra stitch. I just experienced this with this shoe, and I experienced it with the other shoe. And just to make sure, because it's important that you have 20 stitches. And you can clip this strand right here. It doesn't have to be all long and crocheting it all the way around. Sometimes I have long ends because I may have to sew them in, or I may have to do you may have to crochet a trim or something, but I always leave a long, as they call them, tails. Sometimes I feel like I'm wasting yarn, but we're almost there. Keep continuing crocheting your double crochet, and it's just one double crochet in each stitch. And we did this from marker to marker, so there's the last stitch right here. Clip this some more. Clip this because it's not needed. And it's been weaved in. And you can get rid of these markers now. What we're going to do here is chain 1, turn, and we're going to go back in and do into this stitch, not up here, but right here, and do a double crochet stitch. And always make sure that you count to make sure that you have 20 stitches going around from here on around to here is 20 stitches. And we're going to repeat this process however long you need to make this for a shoe. I just did like a few rows from rows 1 to 6, because this is row 1 now, and I repeated this up to row 6, and then I'm going to show you how to close the back of the shoe. And this is as simple as this can get. I'm gonna pause, and I'm going to see you at row 6. All 7 rows, well, it was 6 at first, and I did one more extra row to make sure that it matched this one. So all 7 rows are done, and you have your house shoe. All I did do is just flip it like this, and we're going to crochet the seam together, or you can take a darning needle, and you can take the yarn and just sew the seam closed, whichever one is easiest for you to do. With the shoe that I had, the first shoe that I made, I just simply went in the first, the first loop right here, and then I went through two, and I pulled through, and I did a slip stitch. I'm sorry, I'm getting ready to do a stitch. I'm so used to doing that. So it's this one and the next one, and just kind of make sure you squeeze them together to make sure they're matched up, and just do a slip stitch. And this was stitch this together. You can go through this one and this one, however you want to do it. There is no right and wrong way. There are so many ways to do a lot of things. It just depends on the appearance that you want it to have. Make sure that I am in focus so that you can see it. See what I'm doing. I have really enjoyed this. I have to try this shoe pattern with for an older person. Maybe I have to try it on myself and see how it works out. But I thought this would be a nice project, and you can make ears since Easter is coming up. This holiday is coming up. You can make bunny rabbit ears and make house slippers that look like bunny rabbits, and I'm sure your grandkids or your kids really would enjoy that. Do this too, and I'm gonna cut. Pull this through and then create a knot. So I like about that, and then I'll just weave it in. But I have a pair of house slippers. I don't have any kids to give this to, but this is the size for about a 2 or a 3-year-old, and you can decorate it. However, I think this must be about, like, hopefully this came out correctly, that this is about like 6, yeah, it came out 6 inches long. Don't forget hot glue. You can do fabric hot glue sticks or just regular glue sticks. Put it on the bottom, on the sole of the shoes, so that they will be you'll keep them from sliding. And I was doing this, and it does really work. So here you go. Happy Resurrection Day. You can make whatever animal house slippers you want to make. I just chose to make a doggy. So basically that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this journey with me. My name is Pam Brown. I am T&P Handmade Collections. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and here on YouTube. And as usual, have a great and blessed week. See you next time for our next adventure. Thank you. Bye-bye.